Запрошуємо до слова. Give the floor to Colonel Maksym Prauta, spokesperson of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, with information about ministry's activities over the last week. Good morning, dear guests. Here is brief information about the events that took place in the ministry. The Minister of Defense of Ukraine, General of the Army Stepan Poltorak, signed an order about increase of salaries for the servicemen who are currently in the conflict zone in the east of Ukraine. This is in line with the presidential order. According to the order, the salaries of the servicemen who carry out their mission in the first defense line will be 10,000 hryvnias, and in the second line 4,500 hryvnias. They will receive this amount of salary starting since September this year. In addition, by the decision of the ministry, the salaries of soldiers and sergeants of high mobile paratroop forces and naval forces will be increased by 15–20%. The common efforts of lawyers of the Ministry of Defense and of the Military Prosecutor's Office, a land plot of Tarutin training field in Odessa region has been returned to the Ministry of Defense. The courts of a number of instances declared invalid contracts on rent of a land plot that was signed with the entrepreneurs, and returned to the ministry a land plot of 323 hectares. The ministry continues its work in the courts. According to State Procurement Plan 2017 and a yearly procurement plan, the Ministry of Defense has already signed 107 contracts on the total amount of nearly 4.5 billion hryvnias. This year, nearly 300 new and modernized samples of equipment were supplied for the armed forces of Ukraine. Among them, there are air equipment, engineer equipment, radar complexes, armored weapons, and other equipment. 14 new samples were adopted, including 30mm automatic cannon LVG-30. This cannon is designed to target soldiers, light armored equipment, and also targets in the air on low altitudes. It can fire on the distance of nearly 4,000 meters. In addition, new simulators were adopted, among them a new dynamic simulator of an infantry fighting vehicle and a simulator for a plane L-39. This equipment has been tested and received positive comments of the specialists. Repairing brigades of the Ministry of the Armed Forces of Ukraine returned have repairs since during this year, and 8,500 units of military equipment, among them infantry fighting vehicles, tanks, cannons, anti-aircraft guns, and other equipment. In total, they repaired more than 300 units of military equipment. The armed forces also finished the reform of supplies for the armed forces. 20 new standards, NATO standards, have been introduced. These are regulations about uniform, various pieces of equipment. 57 new technical requirements and were adopted. There were new regulations adopted about what should be supplies for the armed forces in the time of peace and in special period. And it is prescribed that soldiers serving on a contract service can receive pieces of items of the same value. Since the start of this year, Ukrainian soldiers received 17,000 armored protection, 16,000 helmets, 220,000 of boots, and also warm coats and pants, warm underwear, etc. For the work of laundry service, the new heating systems were procured for the armed forces of Ukraine. It was made a decision about procurement of these new systems, and nearly 500 such heating systems will be procured. Groups of civil-military cooperation continue to help to civilians in the conflict zone. And recently, a CIMIC group Avdiivka delivered water and other items for people in Opetne, Avdiivka, Vodyane, and Tonenke. At the same time, Civil Military Cooperation Group Bakhmut delivered to the front line area bread for local people, and also the ensured coordination of efforts to repair power line near Zaitsevo. And in villages Pisky and Karlovka, along the contact line, they established transmission points for military radio Army FM. If you have questions, I'm ready to answer. Could you tell, please, how many servicemen are there nowadays in the east of Ukraine, in the conflict zone? We will make calculations. I'm not ready to give you the exact number at the moment. And the news that I was telling about the salary refers to those who are serving in the first and the second line of the front. But at present, I'm not ready to give the exact number. Do you have more questions? I would like to ask, will they receive plus 10,000 hryvnias, or it will be the total amount of salary? According to the order about the salaries to the servicemen of the armed forces for their participation in combat in the anti-terrorist operation and other operations in the special period, the amount of salary since January 2017 for those who are serving in the first line was 6,000 hryvnias, and in other more remote lines it was 4,000. Since April this year, the salary of those who are serving in the east of Ukraine in the first line was already 7,500, and in other places more than 4,000. And since August, since September this year, it will these amounts will be increased respectively up to 10,000 and 4,000 and half thousand hryvnias. So this is their total monthly salary. This is not the amount paid for day. Yes. And one more questions. You told there are news about large-scale military training, common training in of Russia and Belarus. Do you have any special measures, because there are fears that this training may create danger for Ukraine, and what the Ministry of Defense did and continues to do as preventive measures? The specifics of the armed forces is that they must be ready for any kind of situation at any time. And the same refers to military training of our neighbor. As I have already said, we analyze various types of scenarios and respectively we are training staff members, we supply necessary military equipment, or we repair the equipment, we create the units and add more units to the directions where there is more danger, and we do it permanent at a regular basis because we must be ready to any kind of threats. Which part of our border is draws more attention of the ministry at the moment? Perhaps this is Odessa region, where we have seen dangerous tendencies over these years. What I can say about all these are potential threats that we deal with. In any part of the country where we see potential threat, we take preventive measures. Thank you. Do you have more questions? If you have no questions, thank you, and we will end here.